Bishop.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I do want to begin by saying I remain extremely supportive of the Government. I'm proud of what we've achieved together in a short space of time, and we've delivered massive investment into NHS and schools. These are all positive steps, and we're taking meaningful steps to reduce inequality, lift people out of poverty, support families through a cost of living crisis in an increasingly uncertain world. We've also committed ourselves to tackling violence against women and girls with a seriousness and ambition that was very long overdue. Just yesterday, members across the House came together to vote to lift hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty, including members from Reform, Lib Dems and other parties. I was proud to walk through the eye lobby, and I was proud of this House overall. And yet, Madam Deputy Speaker, that moment, that real tangible progress, has been almost entirely overshadowed by the growing scandal surrounding Mandelson. That should concern every one of us in this House, because we stood on a promise to do politics differently this time. We said that we would turn the page on the scandals, the secrecy and the sense that there was one rule for the powerful and one for everyone else. We said that we would restore trust in public life, and trust once lost is extraordinarily hard to rebuild.
Will the member give way?
I will give way.
I'd like to thank the honourable member for giving way. The member will be aware that earlier on today the Prime Minister made a concession in that spot that he knew. And on that question, is this not a question about trust in the Prime Minister because of the decisions that he knew about, and that's what makes it so serious for this government?
I thank the member for his intervention. I think we're talking about trust across the House, as I've said, so that includes every member of this House and across both Houses. The Government's violence against women and girls strategy is one of the proudest achievements of this Parliament. It's the product of years of tireless campaigning by survivors, by advocates, by frontline organisations who have fought to have their voices heard. But that work and that trust is fragile, and it risks being profoundly undermined when we appear unwilling to apply the same standards of transparency and accountability to those closest to power as we demand elsewhere. How can we stand in this chamber and say to victims that we believe them, that we will stand with them, while refusing to release full documents relating to serious concerns about one of our own? How can we ask victims to trust the system if the system appears unwilling to scrutinise itself? The files released last weekend further highlighted what many already fear. There exists a despicable elite network operating with proximity to power, entangled in international criminality and shielded for far too long by status and influence.
I thank you for my honourable friend for giving way. My understanding is that there's information coming out daily, new information, and that other members of this House currently may or may not be directly linked to the Epstein and Mandelson scandal. Do you agree with me that they should be fully investigated as well?
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention. Anybody linked should be investigated. Simple. If we are not fully transparent about how we vetted the ex-US ambassador in the face of such scandal, how on earth can we expect victims to come forward in future? How can we expect them to trust institutions that seem designed to protect the powerful rather than the vulnerable? I think of the survivors I've met in my constituency and since being elected. I think of the advocacy groups who have worked alongside all of us across the House. Organisations like the Holly Gazard Trust, Sarah Taylor from PIPSA, and campaigners who have poured their lived experience into shaping the Vogue strategy. How can I go back to them, look them in the eye, having voted for an amendment that has the potential to conceal the behaviour of powerful people and their potentially criminal relationships? I will give way.
On that point, there's been quite a lot in disclosures that obviously raise naturally questions about probity. But the issue about power and control and having information that could compromise is, once you are compromised, you are compromised. And every decision there can be compromised. And in that basis, it does really bring into question the importance of an independent oversight on the evidence that's coming forward. And so I hope when the Minister returns to his dispatch box later, he does reflect that in the response.
I thank my honourable friend for the intervention. Yes, I completely agree. The ISC, I'll get onto that in a second. What would I say to those victims, though? That transparency matters, except when it's inconvenient. Accountability applies, except when it's uncomfortable. As a party, we have promised to halve violence against women and girls, and we promise to put victims at the heart of everything we do. And yet today we're being asked to accept an internal review into how the close friend of a known paedophile was vetted, an internal review carried out by the very structures that failed to prevent this in the first place. I will give way.
Thank him for giving way that point, and I actually wish to credit him for the speech he's given today. Very early in my career, I voted for something where I could not sleep that night. And never since have I voted for something that has made me feel ashamed of myself, and I will never do it again. But the bravery it takes so early in your time in this current term to do that is really important. And I hope that your colleagues on your benches, particularly in your intake, stand behind you and supporting you for the decision you've made and do not criticise you, because you are doing what you believe to be right. And I just have to say all credit to you, because we know how difficult that is from having governed for so long. So thank you to the gentleman for what he's saying and what he's doing today.
I thank the member for her words. Madam Deputy Speaker, how can we mark our own homework on matters of this gravity? And I want to be clear that I understand the position the government finds itself in. I understand that concerns have been raised about embarrassment, about reputational damage, about national and international security. These are serious considerations and they should not be dismissed lightly. But if vetting decisions were influenced by compromising relationships, then we have a far bigger problem. One that demands scrutiny and not silence. One that requires us to re-evaluate how this country operates on the international stage and whether transparency and accountability are truly guiding principles or merely slogans. An independent review by the ISC, coupled with a commitment to release documents subject to independent legal advice, is not an unreasonable request. If such a process is deemed unfavourable by the government, the public are not naive. They will draw their own conclusions. I'm not making any accusations today. I'm asking reasonable questions on behalf of my constituents and victims who are watching this debate closely. Will number 10 be candid? Will it show humility? Will it choose transparency over defensiveness? And let me be equally clear about something else. I don't believe the opposition table this motion with victims at heart, and we can all see the political point scoring at play here. But the motivations of the opposition do not absolve us of our responsibility. Given the strength of feeling among victim and survivor groups, and frankly given my own conscience, I cannot in good faith support a position that risks further eroding trust in our commitment to justice. Power and trust go hand in hand. The responsibility that comes with holding public office must never be understated. We are entrusted, all of us, with shaping national policy, representing our communities, safeguarding the most vulnerable, and that trust must be earned every single day. And so today, Madam Deputy Speaker, not because it's politically convenient to me, but because it's morally necessary, I am voting with the victims, I'm voting with the survivors, and I'm voting with the principle that no one, however powerful, should ever be beyond scrutiny.